YouTube, what's going on? Hey, it's Coach Jay. Yes, I got another video for y'all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Today I'm talking about a very important topic, and that's talking about overcoming fear. Now, fear is something that everyone experiences. We all go through it. We all think about things that we can't do, we're scared to do, that we want to do, that maybe we think that we can't necessarily do. So that's why it's important to figure out how you can start to overcome fear. So I want to give you a couple of pointers of how I started to overcome fear and face fear head on instead of running away from it. So the thing about it is that when you think about fear, fear is only scary because we have not done that task yet. So we think about things that we want to do. Everything that comes around fear is typically something that we've never experienced. We don't know what to expect. We only hear stories about what it may be that we're trying to do. And likely we zoom into those negative stories that people have told us or that we've read or researched about. Think about a time when you were trying to do something in your life, whether it was, for me, it was always public speaking, or it was being in front of people, or putting myself out there, being like on YouTube or talking in front of a camera. It would always be something that I've not done before. So I was always scared to do it, right? So what do we do when we're fearful? We always look up the negative things. When we get on Google, we search, all right, what's the worst thing that can happen when we do this task, or negative experiences when you do this, or we always focus on what could be wrong with the situation rather than what could go right with the situation. So that creates more fear, more tension, and more anxiety. So first tip I want to give you all as far as how you can start to overcome fear is to start looking at more positive situations. Start looking at what could go right. So instead of you asking these situations, so again, for me, for example, it was always public speaking. It would always be, oh, I'm scared to public speak because what if I trip and fall, or what if I trip over my words, or what if nobody resonates with me, or what if people don't like me, or what if people don't pay attention, or I'm boring. Like, all of these negative things come to my head first instead of me actually thinking about the positive things. So the first thing I want you to do when you think about overcoming fear is think about the positive side of things. And the way to do that is start to ask yourself different types of questions. Questions such as, what if this goes right? What if I actually can do this task? What if I actually can be successful in public speaking? And also it's about addressing that anxiety and addressing the things that come with you being a whatever that task may be. So for me, I think I've explained this in my videos before, my hands sweat profusely, like all the time. I don't even have to be nervous. Like right now my hands are sweating, you know what I'm saying? But it's not that I'm nervous, not that I'm scared. I'm used to talking in front of a camera at this point. It's just who I am. And even when I think about speaking publicly, my hands will do the exact same thing, be sweating profusely. I'll be thinking about these negative things sometimes. But here's the thing about it. When you're feeling this anxiety about doing something, or if you're fearful about something, that is an indicator that you're actually prepared to go to the next step. You're actually ready to go. Fear and excitement can feel the exact same. Anxiety and excitement can feel the exact same. So you might be scared, but it's not 100% that you're scared. It might be that you're actually ready to go ahead and take that next step and go ahead and do it. So use that to your advantage. Whenever you're feeling that anxiety or you're feeling stressed or fearful, use that to start preparing. Like, use it for your advantage, which would be step number 2. If you're fearful of something, or you're fearful of having a mistake, use that time to prepare. Use that time to get confident. Again, in my example of public speaking, what I do when I feel nervous and what I do when I feel anxious before I do something, I prepare. That means I'm gonna use that anxiety to my advantage, and I'm going to prepare. I'm gonna start to study. I'm gonna research. I'm gonna read my lines. I'm gonna practice over and over and over again. I'm going to practice in front of my dog. I'm gonna practice in front of my family, in front of a mirror, doing all of the things that I can so I can feel mentally prepared to go in and do a great job, even if I am nervous. Now, once you actually take the time to prepare, it's going to come to a time where you're actually going to take the action. I'm going to tell you how you can start to take action, but ultimately when you get there to whatever aspect, which is going into my point number 3, is you have to embrace it. Whatever fear you have, the only way to overcome that fear is to embrace it. And the only way to embrace it is by leaning in and doing it scared. I know that sounds terrifying. I know that doesn't sound good. I know it sounds like, man, that sounds bad. Like it can be nerve-wracking. The point is that you'll always have fear, you'll always have anxiety before you do something because you don't know what that experience is. Before I was actually able to start public speaking and getting in front of a camera, the only way that I got comfortable was by doing it. And I got comfortable because in my mind, before I actually did something, again, all of those scenarios on your mind, like, oh, it's gonna be scary. If I get in front of this camera, it's gonna cut off. People aren't gonna watch my videos. all of these negative thoughts over and over and over again. But until I was actually the one that got in front of the camera, started speaking, and started noticing that it's really not that bad, that's the only reason I do more of it, right? So the same thing for you all. If you know there's something that you want to do, the only way to not be as fearful about it is by doing it. And when you do it, then you're gonna notice, and your mind is gonna recognize that, hey, that wasn't really that bad. That was okay. Now, I'm not saying that once you want to do it again, whatever that may be, that is gonna completely go away. That's not the truth. It may still always, it may be there. It may always be there. However, it will be a little less nerve-wracking when you have that evidence telling yourself that, oh, it's actually okay. It's not that bad. Now, one technique that I like to use whenever I'm feeling fearful of doing something is a technique called box breathing. Now, box breathing is very simple, and I think I've talked about this in a previous video, but just for reference, box breathing is just inhaling for 4 seconds and exhaling for 4 seconds. And when you do that, it's gonna calm your heart rate down a lot. It's gonna make you feel more normal, feel natural, make you feel like you feel every single day. That's the type of space that you want your body and your physiology to be in when you're doing something out of your comfort zone. Because ultimately, again, once you do it, once you start that task, it's not going to be as bad as you thought it was. The point is that we take so much more time to think about negative scenarios and negative things that could happen and all these different scenarios and stories in our mind. We do so much stressing about that than the actual time that it will take to do the actual task. You know what I'm saying? So for example, it's like I might spend a whole week thinking about a presentation, and the presentation is only 15 minutes. A whole week, 72 plus hours, I'm thinking about it the whole time, like, oh man, this is gonna be I don't want to do it. It's gonna be tough. All of these things are in my mind. And then when I get there, 15 minutes, yeah, it might start off rocky, but after I get going and I'm moving and grooving, it'll be over. It'll be over in no time. So you have to apply that same principle when it comes to you and your task and you being fearful. Is ultimately the only way to overcome fear is by doing it. And how do you do it? You have to embrace it. Embrace that you're scared. Embrace that you have feelings about it. Embrace the fact that you may be anxious and nervous about it. But once you come into terms with that and accept it, then ultimately you'll be the one that says, all right, you know what? Let's do it. Let's get over it. Let me go talk to that girl. Let me go speak in front of this crowd. Let me go and post that video on YouTube or Instagram or whatever it may be. And I promise you, once you post it, once you talk to that girl, once you say, hey, what's up? Once you send that text, that video, whatever it is, then you will get more evidence about yourself and say, look, it wasn't even that bad. And now you got to build that momentum. And momentum is the next step. So if this was valuable to you, make sure you go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Mainly subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Coach J out. Peace.